If you found this video, you're already super smart and intelligent. Let me tell you something. Those girls, those CEOs, and those, women that are directors and are just killing it at work, they're not necessarily more intelligent than you or have a higher IQ than you. What they really learn to do is think in frameworks. In fact, not just women, I think everyone that has figured out how to kind of climb the corporate ladder or be a leader, out of necessity, has figured out how to systemize their life. And part of that is definitely using frameworks. Okay, so frameworks are always good. We've established that. Let's actually get into this framework. All right, well, come, we have to sit down. It's coffee time. Let's do this. So maybe you were on a group call last week, somebody was talking about how this is a big problem, you've heard it many times, and then you decided to be the boss that you are, and you put up your hand and you're like, you know what guys, I'll take this one. Let me get some people together, let me figure out how to deal with this one thing. And everyone just breathes a sigh of relief because someone has finally taken responsibility. Okay, fine and dandy, you get kudos for that, but girl, you actually gotta work on it now, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna set up a time for the call, right? The next thing you're gonna do is you're going to define the problem to be solved. The problem to be solved can be, like I said, anything. So it can be an HR related problem, like how do we get employees more engaged at work? How do we get employees to come in more often to work? Or it could be a more business related problem, right? How do we increase sales next quarter? Social media channels are suffering. We need to increase our Instagram following. If you're more in product, it could be we need to figure out why users are not using this feature as much as we thought they should. We need to figure out how to improve a certain process. For me, the first time I did this, it was very much a process-related question. A large problem that we had was that our product teams were not giving researchers enough time to do the research. They were not engaging us quick enough, so I used this method to solve that problem. So the first thing you're gonna do is define the problem very clearly. The next thing you wanna do is turn that problem into a how might we statement. So you're turning the problem statement into a question. For example, my problem to be solved was there is not enough time within the agile process to conduct adamant user research. My how might we statement was how might we better integrate user research into our current agile process. There are tons of videos out there telling you how to write how might we statements. If you're a product designer, you might already know this. If you're not, framing a question like this before coming to a solution is very, 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 very useful despite your line of work. Some more examples are how do we avoid burnout at work? How do we increase motivation at work without spending too much money or going over budget? So the first thing you're gonna need to get started is some kind of cloud collaborative platform. I use Figma Jam because I am a product designer and we use Figma for everything, but it can be any collaborative tool. It could be Miro, it could also be a Google Word doc, really. Once you've defined the problem to be solved and stated the how might we statement, put that aside, send everyone the link to wherever you're gonna do this well in advance, and then you're going to set up the rest of the board. All right, the next thing you wanna do is set up something called a sailboat canvas. The one I'm showing you is super fancy, but it doesn't have to be this fancy. It just needs to have 4 quadrants. So you're looking at the wind, things that are helping you move forward. You're looking at the sun, which is things that are making you feel good. You have a goal, of course, that you've already kind of defined. In this case, I would just put the problem statement and the how might we statement there to remind everybody. And then you have the not so great stuff at the bottom, the anchor, things that are holding you back, and reef, future risks ahead. Now it's time for your workshop. You're gonna get this party started. You're gonna get everybody some sticky notes. The meeting has started. You're gonna ask everybody, hey, so it's not all bad, right? What are some things today with this goal in mind, with this problem state in mind? What things are actually helping us move forward? What are things that are making us feel good? Who are some allies that we have? What are some good things that are currently happening in our organization that is helping move this problem forward already? And here's the most important thing about making this meeting as efficient as possible. It's a silent writing process and it's timed. So you're gonna give everybody no more than 2 minutes to brainstorm things for this top half of this graph. And at this point, everyone's in a good mood and everyone's optimistic. People have kind of gotten a chance to get used to how this workshop's going to be run. They figured out how to do the sticky notes, how to type, all of that good stuff. And yeah, it's good vibes all around. Okay, now we're actually gonna get to the real stuff, the anchor. 2 minutes are up. We're really not gonna do anything with these sticky notes up above, let's be honest. But this is where it gets good. The anchor and the reef. You're gonna give everybody another 2 to 3 minutes to brainstorm things that are not going well. Another 2 to 3 minutes go by, you are participating in this workshop with them, and you have brainstormed a whole bunch of problems. The next step is to vote. You're gonna give everybody some type of voting sticker. It can be anything, it could be a color, whatever it might be. And you're gonna ask everybody to vote on 3 problems that they believe are the most important to deal with. Again, set a timer. Here are the 2 rules. Yes, you can vote on your own problem. Yes, you can vote more than once on the same thing if you feel really passionate about it. Once you've done that, you're gonna get a few different problems that everybody has mutually agreed on are the most important to be solved. You're not gonna count anything that has less than 2 votes, okay? So just the ones that have the top votes. Now, you're gonna pick 1 or 2 or 3 of them, and you are actually going to turn those problems into how might we statements so you can start solutionizing. For the rest of the workshop, you're probably gonna wanna focus on 1 or 2. So let's start with one of the problems. You're gonna take one of those problems, you've got the new how might we statement, put that in another section, and now we're going to brainstorm solutions to this one problem. Everyone gets about, again, just 2 to 3 minutes time to brainstorm solutions. Set a timer if you can and be really rigid with the timing, okay? This is not a time for discussion. We are simply at work. It's a workshop, guys. It's a workshop. Now, there might be some important things people have to say with these things, and it's gonna be your job as a facilitator to remind people that you have a time limit of 1 hour. It's gonna be your job to remind people to stay on track, to focus on the problem at hand and keep a more positive mindset, because it's easy for people to get stuck in a rut of there's too many problems, the problem is too big. Don't worry, that's why we're breaking it down into small chunks that feel more manageable and easier to solve. The next step, you guessed it, is to vote. Vote on the solutions that sound best. Same rules apply. 3 votes each. You can vote on your own and you can vote more than once on one. Disregard anything that has less than 2 votes at the end and you're all set for the next step. At this point of time, people are probably feeling a little bit more buzzy, a little bit more optimistic. That's what we were aiming for. The next part is super important because it shows everybody that we are going to prioritize. We're gonna build an impact effort matrix. If you don't know what that is, well, I'll show you. It's a diagram where we're comparing the impact of a solution versus how much effort it's going to take to actually implement that solution. When you map this out, you get 4 quadrants. The way I've laid it out here, the one in the top left is going to be the ones that you want to do right away. Top right are the ones you want to put into a project because it's going to be long-term and it's going to have really good impact, but it's also a lot of effort, so it's going to take time. The ones on the bottom right, you want to forget about because it's a lot of effort and not enough impact. Why would you even consider it? Finally, the one in the bottom left, you want to make a small task because it's low impact, low effort, but it is something that you can do quick and right away, most likely. So that's something you just make a task on someone's, list of to-dos. So for this one, you're not collaborating anymore. You as a facilitator, you're stepping up. You're gonna take each of the most voted on solutions for this one problem, and you're going to ask people where they think it belongs. Once everyone has come to a pretty reasonable agreement, we are ready to move on to the more tactical part. The last and final step of your workshop is going to be taking everything in the top left quadrant of your impact effort matrix and turning them into actionable items that are time blocked and that also have a specific person or people assigned to that task. So at the end of this workshop, you're going to have a legitimate action list with people who are responsible for every specific action and a due date for everybody. And you're gonna take the responsibility to follow up with people and make sure that you're still on track. Now, here is the awesome part about all of this. You have this entire board of work to show for yourself out of just 1 hour. There's a lot of cool stuff here that came out of just a little bit of time pressure. Hi, this is Dakshya in the future on the microphone. I just wanted to show you an example of the one that I did at work. So I had a little introduction board here. I had it all mapped out here, all the different steps, so people kind of had a good idea before we got started. Voting stickers, easy, kind of place where I kept them at all times. Here is what our sailboat looked like at the end. So as you can see, lots of people have been on here. Lots of different voting has happened. Over here, you can see how we took one of them and, we ideated solutions. And then the impact effort matrix, we only narrowed down the solutions to about 4 or 5 of them, just like this. And finally, some of our to-do nows and next steps and tasks. Yeah, just wanted to show you a quick overview. Now, the things that are on the top right corner of this graph, they are super important too, right? They can become longer projects. Okay, here's my take on that, right? You wanna do everything on the top left first, because you wanna be able to tell people that you've tried something. You've tried the things that are most obvious, that are easier to do, and here are the results that you've gotten from doing those things. Give yourself a time frame for how long are you gonna try these things, and then you're gonna take all of those things, you're gonna put it in a little bit of a report or a slideshow, and you're gonna take that to your manager, or you're gonna take that to your director, and you're gonna say, hey, here are all the things that I've already tried with my team, that I've led, that I've followed up on. Here are the results that were good. Here are the results that were not so good. But you know what? I think it's time we do something a little bit bigger with a little bit more impact. And here is that idea. So what is this gonna do? Well, it's gonna first of all give you opportunity to present some of the things you've already been working on with your team. It shows leadership skills because you've worked with your team. You haven't necessarily done all the work, but you've delegated and you've followed up on things and you've created timelines and you've prioritized. So you're showcasing so many different things just out of this 1 hour workshop. I really, really hope this goes a long way for you. Use it as many times as you need to. Do a part 2 if you didn't get to all of the most important problems that you had voted on. And yeah, good luck. That's it for me. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be here. Bye. Let me tell you something. Did anyone else hear that in a Cardi B voice? Oh, I just heard that in a Cardi B voice in my head. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway,